Okay, welcome back to BCIS 3347. This is Dr. H.Schuessler again, and the purpose behind this video is to walk us through the syllabus and talk about the schedule for a little bit, and hopefully kind of manage some of the expectations that you might have for the class and what some of my expectations are for you. So again, when you go to our homepage, at least right now, it's going to look something like this. It'll look a little bit different once the videos are uploaded. The first video I created is already uploaded. As soon as this one's done, then I'll open up that next section. Those videos will be placed right here in the center of your screen here. But again, the purpose of this video is to take a look at our syllabus and to take a look at our schedule. So we will open those two up and go ahead and go on through them. So here's our syllabus. My contact information, all that kind of stuff's right here at the very top. So this is 3347, spring 2017. It's an online class, so there's no physical place to meet or time to meet per se. My name, title, email. Don't send me regular emails. Send course-related messages to me through Blackboard. We've discussed that in the previous video. I'm in COBA 159 if you need to get in touch with me. If you want to show up, that's where my office is. That's the department head's office. I'm in and out all the time. My official office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. I'm there a lot of the time, but I get called to various meetings. I have conferences that I attend, things like that. So it's best to kind of email me or message me rather ahead of time, just to kind of let me know when you're going to be able to show up and make sure that I can meet you there. We can also meet virtually. Zoom will open up for you if you don't have an account. Download a plugin, and we can meet virtually that way. Let's see, the textbook, all this information, close that real quick. All the textbook information is right here. So Network Guide to Networks by Westdean and Andrews, 7th edition. There are differences from previous editions. If you're trying to work from a previous edition, you're certainly free to do so at your own risk. So keep that in mind. There are some slight differences. I believe there were 13 chapters in 5th or 6th edition. It's 12 chapters now, so it has changed through the various editions. We also use a product called Test Out, which is also required. It's an online training, assessment, simulation environment. Normally runs $495. It's $102 through Tarleton, through your affiliation with Tarleton. So there's a discount code that you'll see in Blackboard. Look at the previous video and you should be able to see that in there. It's a pretty substantial savings, I think you'd agree. So that's where your homework grade comes from. So that's what you're going to need for that. We also use Google Docs quite a bit in this class, Google Docs and Google Drive. So you're going to need a Google account. If it's not something you really want, create it for this semester and then stop using it when the semester is over. But you're going to have to use it. It's required for this semester. Hopefully you've already got it and are familiar with it. That will certainly make your life a little bit easier. The final exam is in Test Out. It is over the Network Pro certification exam in Test Out, and it's administered through Accommodations, which is an online proctoring service, and that is required as well. And there'll be more details on that as we get closer to the final exam. Optionally, and I provide this to you for free, this is something, a text that I've been working on. It's online, it's a Google Doc, and you have free access to that. It's not complete, but it certainly should be helpful, particularly for this class. Course description, all of that's right there. I'm going to let you read it and go through that. There's no reason to sit here and read that to you. Course goals, some of the main things that you're going to end up learning out of this class: cables and connectors, being able to select appropriate wired networking components for various scenarios, wireless configurations, etc., etc. Again, I can let you read through that. I like to provide information regarding the field in terms of job requirements, job outlooks, things like that. And I don't make this stuff up. I pull it from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you want to access it directly, you can come down there and access that. But I give you some information about what the field looks like. And I think that's important. It's a very good field to be in right now. It's growing faster than normal. Median annual wage is pretty darn good, I got to tell you. Now that's median. That means you've been in the field for quite some time. You're in a pretty good market, things like that. So it's not in Stephenville, Texas. You're not going to pull down that kind of wage, but in bigger markets with several years of experience and stuff like that, you can certainly do quite well in this field. It's a good time to be in IT. Related to that is career services, working on your resume, looking for jobs, internships, all those kinds of things. This is the place to start. Miss Catherine Copeland is new to the College of Business. She's been with Tarleton for some time, but recently moved into this particular position. She's here within the College of Business, so I highly encourage you to stop by and see her. She helps put on job fairs and stuff like that, and I can't encourage you to do that enough. So it's a great resource that we have for you. You also have access to a lot of free software through Microsoft. It used to be called Microsoft Academic Alliance or DreamSpark, and now it's referred to as Microsoft Imagine. But it's basically the same stuff. You have a lot of free software that's available to you. It'll be sent to you, the login, your account information will be sent to you to your tarleton.go account, usually about the first week and a half of school. So be looking for that at your Tarleton account. Where do your grades come from? Deliverables and exams. We talked about this in the Blackboard shell, but here it is in the syllabus as well. So your course grade is going to be a composite of your assessments, homework, discussion boards, and exams. Midterm focuses more on managerial and strategic aspects of networking. The final exam is a little bit more applied in utilizing the test out environment. If you have an issue with one of your grades, you've got 1 week to get with me and contest it. So when you contest it, what is it that you're contesting? Be specific. Give me a page number. Point me to specifically what's incorrect. Sometimes there's an error in the test bank, so certainly let me know what that is. But you need to be specific and you need to be timely. It needs to be within a week of the grade being returned. Assessments, there's a quiz over the syllabus and a quiz over each chapter. They're really designed just to keep you current. Make sure that you're reading and staying current. I do drop your 2 lowest quiz scores, and so be sure and do as best you can. And if you do, that means we'll end up dropping a couple of decent scores, but that way it'll increase your average quite a bit. Usually by the end of the semester, averages are pretty good. Students don't really like this format of quizzes that I have, but I've had a lot of success with it over the years, so I tend to stick with it. They're all already posted, so by all means take advantage of that. Work ahead a little bit, not too far ahead. I want you to stay engaged in the class, but work ahead a little bit just in case you happen to have your power goes out and you can't access Blackboard, there's a frat party, there's a job interview. Doesn't really matter. I don't take late work, so work ahead just a little bit to avoid those kinds of situations. Homework is all within test out with the exception of homework 0. Homework 0 is more informational and kind of setting stuff up, but everything else is in test out, so certainly make sure you get your test out account set up early because we hit the ground running in this class. We already talked about the discussion boards in Blackboard. You need 3 meaningful posts over the course of the week. 1 in the first half of the week, 1 in the second half of the week, and then 1 in the last couple of days of the week, which is a reflective post. So be sure and look at those and refer to the other video to see how those things are graded and the specific dates that things are due. Let's see. Pretest and post-test, don't stress about those. If you complete them, you get 5 points. So it doesn't matter how well you do or how poorly you do. I want you to do the best that you can on both so I have an accurate reading, but it's not something that you really need to stress yourself about. Simply stress yourself out about. Simply complete them and do the best that you can. As previously mentioned, there's 2 exams. One's in Blackboard, the midterm's in Blackboard. The final exam is in test out, administered through Examity, and there's some stuff that you're going to have to do to prep your system and actually schedule it. So you'll schedule it within Examity ahead of time to actually take it. And when can you take it? You can take it during the exam period, which we'll get to when we get to the schedule. So that's when you're going to want to schedule it for. Now your point breakdown, your quizzes, your assessments are all posted right here. If you add all those up, it should be 180, or excuse me, 220 points. If you add all these up, it actually comes to, I believe it is 260. But remember, I dropped your two lowest quiz scores, so it's worth 220 points. Your assignment totals are worth 340 points. Participation totals 330. Again, if you refer to the Blackboard video, essentially this is a semester project. Rather than putting together a semester project that's due at the end of the semester, it's kind of a building block approach that we share with everybody, and those points are right there. And then as part of that, I've also got your assessment pretest and post-test. And then the midterms worth 300 and the finals worth 400 for a total of 1,590 points. Assignments are due on Sunday evenings for the most part. I attempt to assess and post grades the following Monday, so the very next day, and I try to do that and provide quick and valuable feedback as quickly as I can while it's fresh in your minds. Now, while that's a goal, sometimes there are assignments that are a little bit larger in scope and I can't grade as quickly, but that is my goal, so keep that in mind. As far as late assignments, I don't take them, so don't waste our time. I don't take them. Student expectations. This is college. You ought to know by now what it takes to be successful. Check Blackboard regularly. Turn things in on time. Make sure you're familiar with the expectations. All those kinds of issues. So read through those. Academic dishonesty. Don't cheat. If you do, you can kind of read through there and see what the punishment is, and that's posted right there. Disability accommodations. I cannot give you an accommodation. If you have a need for an accommodation, contact the disability office. They can take care of that. Whatever they issue you, I'm going to do. I pretty much follow their instructions just about 100% of the time, 99% of the time. I'm going to follow whatever their recommendations are. That's their business, and I'm going to follow what they say. But I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm not qualified to do that. So be sure and reach out to that office if you have need of some sort of accommodation. If you're struggling with writing, particularly for the discussion board topics that we're going to be working on, contact the Writing Center. Get your stuff done early. Contact the Writing Center. Send your stuff over to them, and they can help you improve your writing, and certainly it's a resource that you can take advantage of. Something else that we do each spring semester, there's a service day requirement. So on those days, on that particular day, kind of read through that. There's a service day requirement. I'm sure you'll see more about that as that date approaches. And then here at the bottom of the syllabus is just kind of some interesting information. We talked about this before in the other one, but I include that learning style instrument and personality instrument that I shared with you in the Blackboard shell. Same stuff. It's coming from the same data source, so it should be pretty much identical. Student evaluations are also posted there as well, and you can take a look at those if you're interested. So that is it as far as the syllabus. The schedule, I think, is pretty intuitive, but just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page. Like I said, the very first week we hit the ground running. So we've got 4 columns here. First one is week, next one is dates, topic, and then assignments. And these are the things that are due. So the very first week, we're really just introductions and syllabus, but there's stuff that's actually due. So we have the very first assessment pretest, which is due. And again, you don't have to have any knowledge of networking coming into the course. This is just my way of assessing where you stand. So do the best that you can, but simply completing it will get you 5 points. Homework 0 is really just telling me a little bit about who you are. Setting up a shared Google folder, things like that. So that one's, you don't need any additional stuff other than a Google account for that. And then finally there's assessment 0, which is over the syllabus. The syllabus is available to you through Blackboard, so you have access to that the very first week as well. So we're hitting the ground running. There's stuff that's graded the very first week, so be sure and get that done. When is it due? It's due at 9:30 on Sunday, the week of this very first week. So on 1/22 at 9:30 p.m. it's due. Why 9:30? Well, the Blackboard Help Desk closes at 10, and so I want you to be able to have time to run into some sort of technical difficulty and contact the Blackboard Help Desk if you have that sort of problem. So that's why things are due at 9:30 p.m. The following week, we cover Chapter 1 out of the text. Make sure you have the text by then because, again, I don't take late assignments. We have our very first test out assignments due, as well as our first regular chapter quiz due. And then it just kind of goes on from there. Week 9 is spring break. At the end of the semester, we have a little bit of extra time, and then we have the assessment post-test, which is due. I think I actually opened that up on 4/24. Again, it's basically the same as the pretest. The only difference is the last question, which you'll see when you get to that. And then there's the final exam, and again, that's something you're going to access through Examity. You go to Examity, start the proctoring service, and then you log in to test out and actually take the exam. So ahead of time, you'll need to schedule your final exam through Examity to be able to take at any point between Thursday, May 4th at 6:30 and Sunday, May 7th at 9:30. So that is pretty much it. The final exam tends to be a few multiple choice questions, but it's mostly tasks. And these tasks are things that you do in that test out environment. And again, you'll see more of that when you get into the homework. The homework has a lot of those kinds of things. So that is it. That's all I've got for you as far as the syllabus and schedule. Again, my name is Dr. Schuessler. If you have any questions, send me a message within Blackboard.